Hey, it's Jeff Chan from MMA Shredded, and in today's video I'll be explaining 8 know the rules so you can break the rules. Rule number 1, don't slip to the inside on a punch because your opponent will follow up with that cross straight down the middle. Although that is technically correct, if you know the rule, you can break the rule. Meaning, if I know that the cross may potentially come, just don't keep your head there after you slip. In addition to this, most people choose to slip to the inside to land a better counterpunch, and if you can intercept your opponent with that punch, it will most likely delay that cross, if not drop them, which gives you more time to move your head away from that incoming cross or incoming hook or whatever follow-up punch it may be. And to be honest, more than half the times they don't even follow up with that cross. A single jab is thrown a lot more frequently than a jab-cross combination. Slipping to the inside and countering is highly used by Alex Volkanovski, Bobby Green, Mauricio Ruffy. Kevin Lee finished Gregor Gillespie with this, followed by a left head kick. We also saw Israel Adesanya finish Paulo Costa with this, except it was the left hook that finished the job. I'm just naming fighters that roll off the top of my head, but I'm certain there are several other specific examples I can name if I looked up some fights, but let's move on with the video. Rule number 2. Do not overcommit on your cross by letting your nose fall over your lead knee or by letting your rear foot slide forward, because you will fall out of stance, lose balance, and run into a counterpunch. Coaches will tell you not to sacrifice technique for power or reach. Because we know we will fall out of stance, all we need to do is make sure that we get back in a stance and exit out before we get counterpunched. We see Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather do this exact sequence in boxing, and we've seen Max Holloway used this against Calvin Kattar when he looked at Dana White and said, "I'm the best boxer in the UFC." We've also seen Bobby Green do this, and again, I could probably name many more specific examples if I put the time to search check, but let's move on. And as you guys already know, my favorite way to exit out is throwing the double step low kick. Rule 3, do not cross parry, meaning you should always parry the left straight punch with your right hand and parry the right straight punch with your left hand. You don't want to cross parry because it leaves you open to a punch from the other hand. Well, what if you threw a jab and there is an incoming cross coming, like from the same counter you just saw in Rule 2? Is it faster to bring your jabbing hand back to your face to block, or just use your opposite side hand to block? Would you rather follow the rule and get punched in the face, or break the rule and not get punched in the face? Note that you also want to stand bladed. This will help keep your right side face further from that potential left punch. Honestly, it's hard to remember every specific fight and name when it happened, but I recall seeing Charles Oliveira cross parry the right punch coming from Christos Giagos. Here's also an example of 17-time Muay Thai and kickboxing world champion Pech Tanong, who has 417 fights, use this defense against me. Rule number 4. Don't use head movement in Muay Thai because you will get kicked or kneed in the face. While that is very true, just try not to bob and weave in the pocket. That's where you really will eat a knee or kick. Try to disengage when using head movement by leaning and using footwork. What is the most common way to defend a high kick in Muay Thai? It's to lean back. So, by disengaging when using head movement, you aren't that likely to get kicked or kneed in the head. We see Muay Thai legends like Lordzilla, Sanchai, Samart, and many others use head movement all the time in Muay Thai. Now, if you guys are interested in learning from me in person, I highly recommend you check out some of my upcoming training retreats where you'll get to train with me twice a day, every day, and in between sessions, explore the beautiful destinations with me. You'll be making lifelong friendships with other passionate martial artists from all over the world. You can find out more details by checking out the link in the description box below. Rule number 5. Don't drop your hands because you're going to get punched in the face. However, as long as you understand distance control and have strong footwork, you can break this rule. Before dropping your hands, you should know how to keep just out of range in order to be able to see and react to punches. Keeping your hands down actually makes your head much lighter and quicker to move, and your hands can actually act as wings that help you balance better. By dropping your hands, you can counter with head movement more easily, and by having your punches come from outside of your opponent's peripheral vision, it makes those punches sneak in easier. Dropping your hands can also allow you to catch your opponent off guard with a surprise attack because they are not expecting a punch when your hands are down. You can see that all these rules actually complement each other. Head movement, hands down, footwork, and distance control. Essentially, it's just a completely opposite style from your textbook rules. Keeping your hands down also makes it much easier to defend takedowns. Of course, you don't want to always keep your hands down. You want to switch up your guard and bring them up when it's necessary. Now, there are just too many fighters to reference when it comes to who drops their hands, but here's a bunch that come to my mind. Bobby Green, Israel Adesanya, Alex Pereira, Anderson Silva, Robert Whittaker, Max Holloway, Dominic Cruz, Tom Aspinall, Wonderboy Thompson. The list literally goes on. And here's one more reason to keep your hands down. Your opponent can't really use sneaky hand trapping techniques on you like you see here. With your hands down, there is nothing to distract you from what strike is coming. You'll be a vision-based fighter and see it all coming. Rule number 6. Don't kick with your foot because you're going to break it when your opponent checks. Although that is true, you can also break your shin when your opponent checks. In fact, we have seen many more shin breaks than foot breaks. I don't think I've ever seen a foot break yet. Kicking with the foot allows you to be further from your opponent and gives you more recoil and retraction on your kick, keeping you much more safe from a counterpunch. Would you rather break your foot or your face? I like to mix it up, kicking with the foot and shin depending on the situation. Now, this isn't just my opinion. Sanchai taught to kick with the instep in one of his Instagram videos, and Lurzilla taught to kick with the instep in his past seminars. If you watch the best fighters like Taiwan Chai, Superlek, Sanchai, Superbond, and many others, they all also sometimes kick with the foot. It's not just the best Muay Thai fighters, but the best MMA strikers like Israel Adesanya, Joe Vera, Alex Volkanovski, John Jones, and again, I can name way more if I put the time into a search check, but these are just fighters that I know kick like this. Rule number 7. Don't shoot for a double leg with your head on the inside because it leaves your neck open for a guillotine. Although that is true, and I did get caught here, if you can time a takedown well and execute the takedown fast enough, it's usually very difficult for your opponent to grab your neck in midair or mid-takedown. The head on inside double leg takedown, in my opinion, is a much faster and explosive takedown than the textbook way of doing it. So I like to shoot with my head on the inside 75% of the times and 25% the textbook way. I've seen Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gain, Cody Garbrandt, and many others use the head on inside to execute their double leg takedowns. People also say not to perform a single leg takedown with your head on the outside because it leaves you open for the guillotine. Yet we see George St. Pierre use it all the time throughout his career. But because he executes the single leg takedown so fast that nobody really had time to try to grab onto the head for the guillotine. At the end of the day, if someone is just better than you, there's a much higher chance that you will get caught and punished for, quote unquote, breaking the rules, just like they would probably catch you even if you did follow the rules. Rule number 8. Never turn your back to your opponent because you can't see them and they will look to choke you out. Although you definitely don't want your opponent on your back, if you are on the bottom in MMA, I much rather give up my back in order to pop back up to my feet. If I keep my back on the bottom and play guard, I will definitely take a lot more damage. But by giving up my back and getting to my feet, my opponent will be working hard to hold me down instead of punching me. Even if they do try to strike, it will be less damaging than if I was lying on my back. While doing all this, I can at least cause a scramble and potentially escape the position completely. In this specific situation, I found an opportunity while scrambling to hit a Granby roll and into a knee bar. We are seeing pretty much all MMA fighters use this strategy now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about these rule breaks. As usual, if you'd like this video, please remember to like, share, subscribe, as well as turn on that notification button so you get notified when a new video is released. Before you guys go, I wanted to share with you my new head movement program, where you'll learn how to move your head basic and advanced movements, how to move your head after punching, how to counter with head movement, how to move your head after countering, how to counter the counter with head movement, how to move your head when kicking is involved, and pretty much how to save your brain by becoming an evasive fighter who takes less damage to the head. For more information, click the link in the description box below.